This will show you how to collect the rest of your data for your acceleration as a vector activity. When you did the execution, you used the video physics. We will find the time from the video physics of the disk going down the ramp. When you set the board up in your setup video, it showed you how to find the angle. So you would take the average of the smallest and bigger angle. We measured the angle here, here, and here, but that's in the other video. Now we need to measure three distances. We're going to measure the distance, diagonal distance from on the board. We're going to measure the horizontal distance under the board and the vertical distance from here to here, which means we'll take this distance minus that distance. So I'll show you how we do that, just to make sure you know. So I'm measuring the distance from the first mark to the second mark. So you just take your yardsticks, or you can use your finger and slide one yardstick, however it works, but that's the distance I'm measuring from the first mark to the second. That is the diagonal distance. That's x sub d. Then the horizontal distance is the distance along the floor that goes from under one mark to under the other. So I line up one ruler under the first mark, and then I measure the distance from the first mark to under the second mark on the floor. That is x sub x. I want to emphasize the importance of being as accurate as possible of lining up whichever edge of the tape you're using, that I use the same edge on the diagonal distance and on the horizontal, and I line it up as vertically as possible so that you start right underneath it, and when you measure underneath here, be as accurate as you can, because there is not a huge difference between your distance on the floor and your distance on the board. So that will be the biggest chance for error. To get good results, we need this distance to be as accurate as we can. Measure it to the nearest millimeter if you can, and then that will be the goal, and we'll be as close as we can. Then I need my x sub y. So I take my height to the first mark and the height from the second, and I subtract those, because the distance I want is how far down the disk went. And those are the values we need.